you throwing? Did you drink more hot chocolate today? I had a lazy Wednesday. Not really on purpose, I guess. I woke up and I watched. Have a lot of it. You have a lot to go through. All right, you bought like $80 worth. I watched some anime. I watched the one where the noble lady dies and is reincarnated in our world, and then she becomes a doctor, and then she dies in our world, and she's reincarnated as her old self, but at a time when she can fix things. That one, right, is like a trope now. It's a genre now. It probably has been a genre for a while, but I can't remember what it's called. But it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I like it. Then I showered, and then after I showered, I was gonna go get some food after my shower, right? Hi Devin, hi dear, how are you? How are you? Hope you're doing okay. Hope your week has treated you alright. It's Wednesday. Almost over the hump. Yeah, by the time I was like, I got distracted by YouTube, I think. I can't what it was on YouTube. Back to Terry. Okay, damn it. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Good to see you. Yeah, and then I got distracted, and then I didn't eat till my stomach was like, hey, it's been a while. You should put something in me. So I was like, okay, fine. So I didn't eat till like almost 4. I wasn't even hungry, and then I had taco soup for dinner. I was like, oh, okay. So I ate it. So if I'm burpy, I apologize. Fifth time in the last 2. Oh my goodness. That's scary. I'm glad your granny's okay. Oh, and so we're not playing Koromon on Friday or Pal World because on Friday, or is it Saturday? It's Friday, right? It's the 26th. That's Friday. On Friday, we're playing games. We're going to play Deep Rock Galactic with some bear friends. I think we're playing with Berry, Terberry, Icy, and Mara. It took me longer than I'd have liked. Oh, we still have our 400 goal. Probably finish that. Yeah, it's Friday. The usual time, 7:30. I don't know how long we'll be going, but we're gonna play Deep Rock. I have not played Deep Rock since last time I streamed it, so we'll see how that goes. Start new goal. Let's go to 450. Excuse me. There we go. Alright. Ad break in 5 seconds. Sorry about that. Oh, that's right. My bitrate was all over the place. Holy smokes. Hopefully it's okay. Maybe you'll be out of the home. Oh, that's not good. Hi, Gone. Thank you for the like, dear. Thank you. Alright. Pre-rolls are now disabled for 63 minutes instead of 20 or 30 something minutes. Awesome. 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 A 40 stream streak. Oh my goodness. Thank you for the 40 stream streak, Thorn. Well, I think it started counting the streaks when they implemented that. I don't know if you could hear me. I think they added that, started the counter when they started testing that feature. I think. I don't know. I don't know. All right. Maybe that's a little better. You got rated as you ended? Oh no. That's the worst. I feel so bad. I don't know if that's happened to me. I don't recall if that's happened to me before. I'm not sure. Sorry about that. So yeah. And then I would just watch YouTube till like 7. I didn't plan on it, but who is it? Who is it? I got recommended a video last night when I was trying to sleep. Of a compilation of stories told by this guy named Joseph Anderson. I think he's a streamer and like an author. I don't know. I don't know who he is. The algorithm gave me one of videos, gave me a video of a compilation of his stories, and it was pretty good. And there's like whole channels dedicated to making edits of his antics in streams. Like there's like an hour-long video, or like 59 minutes, of him unintentionally breaking Starfield for like an hour. Well, the video is an hour long. I'm sure the stream is much longer. And it is so good. Excuse me. The channel name is Retinas, like the part of your eye. Retinas. The Retinas also did it. I was making my way through the video of Joseph or Joe, I don't know, of him getting a trolley in Half-Life 2 to the end of the game, and it is quite something. It is quite something. Hi, you're something. Hi, Teto. Hi, dear. How are you, dear? Happy Wednesday. How are you? Hope you're doing alright. The bitrate beginning of stream seemed to be a little wonky, at least on the stream manager on Twitch. We haven't dropped any frames, but if stream gets wonky, yeah. Coworker tension seems to be coming down, so things are okay. So alright, good. My day was good. I didn't do like anything today. Hi, Ninetail. Hi, Ninetail. Your rascal is here. Your little rascal is here. How are you, Ninetail? Hope you're doing alright. It's Wednesday. You got a new blanket. Nice. Nice. We love blankies. We love blankies. Yeah. But my day was good. I didn't do much of anything today. I watched anime till like 1, and then I showered, and then I didn't eat because I wasn't hungry, so I just kept watching YouTuber. Where he's here. Toto is here. And you were like 6. I don't know if I have a blanket from then. If I do, it's in like storage, and I haven't seen it since it was put in storage when we moved in the house. But yeah, I was just watching YouTube videos of a guy breaking video games, not on purpose. Well, the Half-Life 2 one with the trolley was kind of on purpose, but yeah, Starfield was just broken. Since last year? Yeah, rascal. It's talking to me? What do you mean? Huh? I'm not a rascal. I said what? Oh, since last year? Yeah. Are you tired? Okay. Yeah, don't deflect. My goodness, Teto. Well, speaking of New Year, it's almost high time I get sick. I seem to always get sick either around Christmas time or like in like February, so we'll see what happens. I haven't been sick in a while. But I need something soon. Ooh. 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 What are you busting with the Twinkie? What do you mean? I'm just. Ooh. Thank you for being here, Teto. I just ate Thorn. This isn't nice. I had taco soup. It's not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you for the redeem, Thorn. Thank you. Okay. Excuse me. Have you had the chance to play Pal World yet, Teto? I can't remember when you said if you got it over the weekend or we're going to get it over the. I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't got to remember berries. It's song tonight. Nice. You guys can play Pal World. Although, the game did suggest that the host have a very beefy machine. Because the more people on the world, or whatever, the more janky it gets. Shocked? What are you shocked about? Did you guys eat today? Did you guys eat today? Sandwiches for lunch? Making dinner at the moment? Okay, okay. Oh, sorry about that. Those are my knuckles. I had a bag of steamed mixed veggies from Kroger, and then I had some chicken bites Southern style from Members Mark from Sam's Club. It's actually really good chicken with fry sauce, so it probably wasn't the healthiest meal, even though I ate like 4 servings of vegetables. But I was hungry. That's usually what I eat. The whole bag of vegetables, and I'm not hungry till like right before stream. But I didn't eat till like 3:30 or later, but pretty close to 4. So, yeah. And then I had taco soup like an hour ago, and a piece of cookie from Crumble. With it was just a cookie with Reese's Pieces in it, I think, or there was just brown and no, it was Reese's Pieces. It was Reese's Pieces. You have a snack drawer? I don't have drawers anymore. Besides the ones I'm wearing. Sorry. My old desk had drawers. This one doesn't. So everything that was in those drawers are in boxes somewhere. Or in my candy bucket. Because one drawer on my old desk was just full of my miniatures pile of shame that I have yet to paint. So, yeah. Yeah. Only snack I have are these Twisty Pops. Oh, and I found the warhead that I got from Halloween. It's in my hand right now. It was on the floor outside my room. So, because it was sitting on the base of my monitor before I moved desks, right? And my dad we moved the desk, we moved the monitor. I don't know where the warhead went. I didn't know where the warhead went. And then we moved. I was like, oh, where'd the warhead go? Because I was like, oh, I can like eat it on stream for some reason and whatever. And then I found it like the other day, and it was just sitting on the floor right there. Funny story, right? Warhead. Hi, honey. Hi, honey. How are you, dear? Good to see you. How are you, honey? Thank you for being here. Oh. I can spell. I have eaten. Go follow Honey. Honey is a cutie pie. Honey is great. Honey is also a fellow bear. And our model is adorable. They're adorable. But yes, I have eaten. I had a really late start today because, for whatever reason, anime distracted me. So then I didn't, like, shower and then get dressed till, like, after 1. And then, I was gonna get food after I got dressed, but then I just sat down, and then I got distracted by YouTube? Yeah, by YouTube. And then I didn't like realize I was hungry till my stomach was making noises. I was like, oh, I should go eat. And then I went and I made food. But I didn't eat till like almost 4. I'm a bit quiet, am I? I can turn myself up here. Maybe right there. Is that too loud? Or is it too quiet? Yeah. sorry if you could hear me. Sorry. I have eaten. I had taco soup an hour ago. And then at like 3 or 4, my first meal of the day, I had a whole bag of steamed mixed vegetables and like pieces of chicken bites, southern style from Sam's Club. And probably not the healthiest thing, but I ate four servings of vegetables. I don't know. I don't know if my body likes that, but that's what I do every day. Or try to do every day anyway. And so I wasn't hungry. And then my mom made taco soup. And so I ate some. And Thorne's making me do squats. And it's not nice. Taco soup? Yeah. So you take like beef, beans, corn, and tomato, and you put it in a soup, or you make a soup with it, and like taco seasoning and stuff. I've been eating it since like I can remember, because my grandma would make it, or someone would make it, because when I was like, before I was like 4, maybe, because my sister was born. No, my sister was born in 2006, or no, hold on. Yes, it wouldn't. Yeah, or was it 2004? I don't know. I think it's 2006. I think. Because we lived with my grandparents, but we had to move because my parents got pregnant with my first sister, my third sibling, and so we had to find my parents needed to find another place, otherwise my sister would have to share a room with me and my brother. And why am I talking? Oh yeah, taco soup. Anyway, when I was little, we lived with my grandparents, and my grandma would make taco soup, and they have their counter. Their kitchen isn't like a separate room. Their living room goes into like a dining room thing where their kitchen table is, and then into the kitchen. But the kitchen is separated from like the dining room with like part of the counter. Like it's just one long room. And I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, at the counter, it's kind of like a bar stool thing. I don't know, but they have 2 chairs, not bar stools, but they're like yeah. And they're pretty old chairs. Now think about it. But my grandma would make taco soup, and we'd sit at the counter in the chairs, and then we'd eat taco soup. I don't know if we did that often, but I do have a memory of sitting next to my grandma eating taco soup. Hi, Ninetail. Sorry, you asked what taco soup was, and I'm going into this rambling thing. Sorry. It's soup, but it tastes like tacos, with like taco meat and beans and chunked tomato. We use chunked tomato. Continue rambling. Okay. Yeah, we'd sit at the counter, and we'd eat taco soup, and I was like sub 6 years old at least, maybe probably 5 or younger. 5 or younger definitely, because I was still in preschool. I wasn't even in kindergarten. I was in preschool. I can't remember if I liked it. I didn't. I don't like tomatoes. But if it's in taco soup, I can manage because it just tastes like the soup. Um, uh, yeah. And on the counter was a tiny tube television, like one of those tiny ones that, you know, are tiny. Like the big ones that weigh like 300 pounds because they're a giant glass chunk in the front of it, right? And um, this is before. Well, I think cable was a thing, obviously. Pretty sure. Maybe, I don't know. It had to be. It had to be a thing, right? um, but I think I remember one time I was like bored or something, and or I was sitting there in the chair at the counter, and like someone was cooking, or someone was on the other side of the counter. I don't remember. This is like primordial memories. This is like 3, 4 years old, or when I was 3 or 4 years old. Um, remember, there's like the one time that like they actually let me have the TV on, because whenever I was sitting there, I was probably eating, which means it was probably dinner time, and they didn't want the TV on while they were eating dinner because this little tube TV. I don't even know why it was there. I'll be honest. It's not there anymore. I don't know what happened to it. If we took it when we moved, if it was my dad's, I don't know. But I was sitting there, and then I think it was a Godzilla movie. I can't, or it was King Kong. It might have been Godzilla versus King Kong. It might have been. But it was like the one time they were like, okay, you can watch that. Because it's Godzilla. And I loved Godzilla. I still do. It was one of my favorite things. It still is one of my favorite things, but um, uh, excuse me, sorry, stupid taco soup. Excuse me. Mm, mm, mm. Sorry, I zoned out. Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was King Kong versus Godzilla. Um, I think, or it might have just been King Kong. I don't know. But yeah, that's like the earliest memory I have of eating taco soup. It has been in my life for a very long time, and it's good. I didn't like it when I was younger because I had tomatoes, and I'd pick the tomatoes out because I don't like tomatoes. Um, mm, 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 mm. Um, yeah, that's one of my earliest memories that I can still recall, like vividly, like a dream that you had 3 nights ago, but like remember most of it. Like I don't think I have a photographic memory, but sometimes when I try to remember like a place I've been, um, I could be it was like standing in like a VR simulation where you just can't move. You're just standing in one place, but you can sort of kind of like Google Street View. It's kind of like that, almost for some of them. like I can't do it with some things that I used to be able to, like when like years ago I could recall like what scout camp looked like like two scout camps, two scout camps when I was a youth. um, I can't do it as well anymore, but um, like I'm standing right there. There's a picnic table with the mess, with the kitchen box, because our scout leader, or maybe it didn't start with him, but we had a box made out of um, what's the thing called where it's like a bunch of sawdust stuck pressed together. What is that called? I can't remember what that's called. Um, it was made out of that, I think, and it had like spices and cooking utensils on it. And then we had like a propane stove, I think. Um, and then opposite that was my tent, or the tent I was sharing with a friend. And then beyond that, deeper away from like the entrance to where our troop was set up, there was a kaibo right there. And I think next to the kaibo was a water pump. And the water at it was, oh no, it was it was okay, because I've been to two, Aspen Ridge and Camp Bartlett. I think Aspen Ridge was my first one, and I think it was Aspen Ridge. No, maybe that's the part I can't remember. um, shoot, no, yeah, that was Aspen Ridge. That was Aspen Ridge. Yeah, wait, I don't remember. I'm trying to remember it, but like the camps are just blending together. Like I can remember like the chunk of the camp, the back half with the picnic table, and like the kitchen, into the kaibo with the water pump, or the kaibo next to the water pump. But if I turn around, okay, no, I'm pretty sure that was Aspen Ridge. I'm pretty sure that was Aspen Ridge. And the water tasted really good. And I remember I put some in a water bottle, and it was like, because my mom like only drinks water, and she has to have a water cup with her. Like when I was younger, she um, would carry around those big mugs that they give you uh, when you stay at the hospital, like when you when she would deliver a baby, right? One of my siblings, um, and she would get one of these mugs, and she would use that um, for years, and then she got pregnant with my sister, and then she got a new one, and then it got like really old, and then she got like a metal cup that would stay cold longer, because her water has to be cold. It has to be cold. um, what was I talking about that? Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. Oh yeah, because I put water in a bottle with the water pump, because the water tasted really good out of this pump. Like, it's the best tasting water I'd ever. It was like almost sweet, like there was sugar in it. Um, it was really good water. So I put some in a water bottle, and I was like, Dad, because my dad would come to camp, because my dad was the Cub Scout master for a really long time, like 10 years, I think, like a really long time, because he was Cub Scout leader. Um, like when I was like younger than maybe when I was 8, maybe when I became a Boy Scout, he was the Cub Scout leader. He was Cub Scout leader for a long time, regardless. It might have been when I was a bear. I don't. I don't. I'll have to ask him. um, but I don't think he was when I was a wolf. For anyone that doesn't know, Cub Scouts, you start when you turn 8. You can start Cub Scouts earlier when you're like 7, but it was just kind of a ritual when I was younger for when a boy turned 8, because that's when you get baptized in the Mormon church, and then you join the Cub Scouts. Like if you were if you were Mormon at the time, in like the 2000s to mid 2010s, you turned 8 and you were just a Cub Scout. You became a Cub Scout. I thought they were like just related. um, it's like I thought Cub Scouts was just an extension of church, because we held our meetings in the church building. At least my troop did. Like I just figured in my little Mormon bubble world that like if you were a Cub Scout, you were a Mormon, because the two were like inseparable for a real long time. And then like maybe like over like 5 years, I can't remember the specific year, but the Boy Scouts started letting girls join, and like I think they were gonna let uh, gay men become Cub Scout leaders, and like that was like a big deal. Because they were like, oh no, they're gonna, they're perverts. I don't know. I was like 14. I didn't know what was going on. I was like pretty much done with Boy Scouts when that was happening. Like on my way out. I think that's what was the last straw. And then the church was like, all right, we're discontinuing. Also, there was this big scandal with abuse by Scout leaders to the Scouts. Like there was this whole lawsuit, like last year or the year before that. I don't know if it's done, but it was like really bad. And I think the church was like, okay, we gotta separate ourselves from this. This is bad. And because they didn't want any bad PR, I'm guessing. So they stopped collaborating with the Boy Scouts of America, the BSA, as closely as they had been. Because I'd be like, Dad, why did the church stop? what the Boy Scouts say is like they didn't stop. Like he would, you know, and I pretty much did. I don't think they might still have like scout activities, but like when I turned like 15, 16, we didn't really. When I became a teacher, we didn't really go on scout camps because the deacon. So, okay, okay. Um, so no, I'm not a teacher. Hi, Grape. Hi, dear. No, I'm not a teacher. I'm not a teacher. I was a teacher. I was at the office of teacher as a young Mormon boy. So when you, it's a lot to get into. Um, I can do that, but I talked about like 2 weeks ago. um, Hi, Grape. How are you, dear? Hope you're doing all right. Glad to see you. Yeah, I was like 14. Because in the Mormon Church, so let's try and explain it. As yeah, you get your notebook next to you. So if you're a Mormon boy or male in the Mormon Church, when you turn 12, you go in and you talk to your bishop, and the bishop is the guy that like presides over your ward, and your ward is basically just your congregation that meets in your chapel, your church, the cultural building, or the church building, the chapel, and he's and then so you talk to him. He asks you a bunch of like pretty invasive questions about things like chastity, if you like believe in the church and Joseph Smith and all this stuff, and then if you're deemed worthy, you're ordained with the gift of the Aaronic priesthood, and that lets you pass the sacrament in sacrament meeting, which is like the first like the big meeting on Sundays, for the first hour on Sundays when you for your scheduled meeting time at the church. All right, the first hour is sacrament meeting, in which you get the sacrament, the bread and the water, and then when you turn 14, ouch, and when you turn 14, you go through another worthiness interview with your bishop, asked more probably questions that shouldn't be asked by a middle-aged man to a teenager alone in a room about chastity. This other stuff it's awful, but if you're deemed worthy, then you're ordained the office of the teacher. It's I mean, it depends on your bishop. Some bishops are like, "Oh, you're a teenager. It's fine. Don't worry about that kind of stuff." Others are like, "No, you have to. You can't take the sacrament for 3 months." And then they check up on you like every week. I don't know. I never did that. I never like confessed anything because I was like, I'll get into that later. Let me finish this. Hi, Nighty. Excuse me. But when you're a teacher, I guess I must have a good stream. Thank you, Grape, for being here. Good luck at work tomorrow, dear. Good night. Don't forget to brush your teeth. Stay hydrated. Get nice and cozy. Stay warm. Unless it's hot, then stay cold. And if it, But good night, Grape. It's good to see you. Sweet dreams, dear. Anyway, you're 14. That means you can prepare the sacrament. So you put the cups in the water tray. Then you fill the cups. And you put the slices of bread on the bread trays. And make sure that the the cloths on the table, the sacrament table, look good. Like if it was like if the cloth was like slightly ajar, someone would complain, and then you had to get up in front of everybody in the cultural hall, or the meeting room. I don't remember the chapel. The room is called the chapel, with the pews and stuff. Then you had to go adjust it or whatever. It was not. Anyway, it wasn't even a big deal, but people they could be particular about that kind of thing, especially adults that are older. Anyway, as a teacher, that's all basically your additional duties. Is you fill the water cups, get the trays ready. Like so, and in the chapel, on the sides of the room, as you go up onto the stage or whatever you want to call it, with like the podium and the seats for the bishop and his counselors to sit in, and the secretary. I don't remember if the secretary sits up there. I might. And then opposite of him, on another row of seats, or not opposite, but adjacent to the right, is where the people that are giving talks that day in sacrament meeting sit. And then behind them are rows of seats, and then against the wall is typically like a row of a really long bench, a really long pew, and then the wall. And that's where like the ward choir would sit, or like the primary kids, the little kids would sit when they do like a program. And then there's typically a piano, and then on the other side, opposite side of the stage of the piano, is the controls for the organ. And then like above all that, attached to the wall, are the organ pipes. And then on the sides of the wall in the corners, one was like storage for like hymn books and stuff. And then opposite of that, there's a little nook thing behind like the sacrament table, where you would fill the water cups and like rinse out the trays and stuff after sacrament meeting and before sacrament meeting, with a little sink. And yeah, you'd if you're a teacher or a priest, well, depending on how many of there are in your ward, how many teachers and priests there are, you go up, you'd start filling the water trays, because it took forever, because you had to get the cups in the holes in the little tray lid of the tray, because you would drink out of the little plastic cup, then you put it in a hole in the tray, where it would sit underneath the other cups as like disposal. So it was really gross. Especially when the cup had lipstick on it. It made me like gag. I hated those ones, because like because you knew someone's lips. I mean, every cup someone touched someone's lips, but like the ones with like lipstick, I hated those ones. They were so gross. But yeah, so like the teachers prepare the sacrament, like get everything set up, and then they would clean it up. The priest would help too. Hi, Star Girl. Hi, Star Girl. Thank you for the smoocher name. Thank you. I'm good. Honey got me on a ramble about taco soup, and I'm talking about church stuff from when I was younger. It's just how these things go, I guess. But I'm good. But yeah, so when you were, so I can't remember, but we had like my friend came up with a system to fill the trays with the empty cups when you were getting it ready. Really quick, you'd like get a stack of it, and then like hold it, and then grip the bottom cup with your fingernails, and like push it off with your fingernails, and it would fall in the cup. It was way faster than taking them out off the stack of cups, because they would come in like stacks, like solo bags of like solo cups, but they were like really tiny. They're like thimbles. They're about that size, and so sometimes it would take a little bit to get them off the stack because you had to get your fingernails between. But anyway, sorry, I had taco soup, and it's making me gas. It's making me burp. I'm sorry. How are you, Star Girl? How are you? I hope you're recovering nicely from your wisdom tooth removal surgery. I hope you're recovering nicely. It's rough for the first couple of days. I hope you're doing all right. But yeah, then you'd so you got them all in the holes of the tray lid. Then you turn on the sink. Then you run it through the water from the faucet, till they were all full. It'd make the lid of the tray really wet, but it was like the only feasible way to fill them. And I remember there was like when I was a teacher, when I was like 14, 15, we would have tons of people for sacrament meeting. Like they would sit in it was called the overflow. It's just the foyers next to the entrance to the chapel, with like couches and a couple of chairs. And then like people would stand. I don't know where all those people went. They don't have that problem anymore, I don't think. I haven't been in a really long time. Since like 2022 or like mid 2023. But we had so many people, we had to set up like 2 extra trays. Otherwise, we'd have to make a tray mid while the trays are being passed around by the deacons, the 12, 13-year-olds. And then that water would have to be blessed. So it was always they were like, okay, because I think we're gonna do that like once. And then the bishop was like, okay, you guys need to make like 2 extra trays, so this doesn't have to happen again. So you don't have to say the prayer twice. Bless more water, or more bread. And so anyway. Yeah, so the deacon passes the trays around. That's like all they do. The teachers set it up, clean it up, and then they can still pass the sacrament. And cleaning it up was not fun, because we'd it was not fun because you're cleaning. And the cups with lipstick, oh my goodness, they were gross. But you take the lid of the tray off, and or dump out any leftover cups still on the tray that didn't get used, and then throw them away because the water was blessed or whatever. So the rationale was it's blessed, so it's really bad if that water is consumed for some reason. If you already have the sacrament, you can't have more. You have to throw it away. So it's kind of, we didn't waste a lot of bread. 7 streams streak. Thank you, Star Girl. Thank you. Yeah. So we dump it all out. Dump all the empty cups into a garbage can in the corner of this little cubby thing with the sink and a couple cabinets with the bread and cups. And yeah, and we'd have to throw it away. The can would be full afterwards, and we'd throw away the bread too. And I remember one of us, my friend was like, or was kind of like, you gotta follow the rules, right? Because like, uh, the leaders are like, you can't eat the bread, you can't eat it, or something, because it's been blessed. You can't eat it more of the bread if you already had it. I don't know why, but we had to discard the bread because it had been blessed, because we don't want someone. I don't know why. We had to throw it. I remember he shoved like a handful of it into his mouth. My friend was like, "No, you can't do that." Like, so, and when I was supposed to take the bag out, and then we go to class or Sunday school. And when you turn 16, you're deemed worthy by the bishop in another interview, where they have to ask, even if the bishop doesn't want to ask these invasive questions, he's still required to by the church handbook. And the stake president, which is like the bishop of multiple wards or multiple congregations in an area. And then would get mad upset at him if I found that. Anyway, if you're deemed worthy to be ordained a priest, that means you get to bless the sacrament, and then do everything else if it's required of you. And when I was 16, it was me and like my friend that didn't want the other guy to eat the bread when we were cleaning up. It was just us two, pretty much. So me and him had to bless the sacrament like every week, and it was terrifying because you got your squeaky teenager voice, and you're talking into a little microphone in the table, then in the sacrament table, saying this prayer. If you say it wrong, the bishop nods his head no, and then you have to say it again. And then if you don't want to mess up more than once, because then you're stuck in a loop saying it, and then you get more anxious. But anyway, so one of us would say the prayer on the bread, or I can't remember. That's so weird. I can't remember if we blessed the water or the bread first. If we passed the water or the bread. I think it was the water. So how it would work: 2 priests, maybe 3 if there's enough of you there. For most of my few years being a priest, it was just me and my friend. And you'd sit there. The bishop would get up to the podium and go through the schedule, do any ward announcements, and then he would go, okay, we're going to say the opening hymn, and have an opening prayer by sister or brother so-and-so, and then we will finish preparing for the sacrament. And go till then. And then he would go sit down, he'd sing the opening hymn, then, the hymns was playing, so the opening hymn would be sung. Someone would say the opening prayer, then they would sing, immediately after that, unless there were more announcements that the whoever was presiding over the meeting, if it's the bishop, his first or second counselor, because they would take turns every week. So it would be the bishop 1 week, the first counselor, then his second counselor, then maybe the secretary, I can't remember, would preside over the meeting, which just meant that they had to go over the schedule of the meeting, the itinerary, or whatever you want to call it. And so the sacrament hymn would start playing, and then the priest, you'd stand up, you'd flip up the cloth that's laid over the trays, over the bread. You'd uncover the bread, and then the bread trays, and then you would break the bread as fast as you could. You would pray. You would put say prayer in your heart that it is a very long hymn, Because if it's not, if it's like, um, there's a hymn that's like 2 verses and is like 30 seconds. And I can't remember what it's called. It's something about like the day ending and getting ready for bed. I don't remember. It's like the more yeah. It's like about Sunday or something. I can't remember. Like the sun comes up and it goes down, and then, yeah. You would pray. It's like, and usually the sacrament hymn is a hymn about Jesus, or like what happened in the grove or whatever it's called. Yeah, it's usually something about a hymn about Jesus. And some of those are like really boring, but some of them are pretty long. Because the worst thing was if you're still breaking the bread and the hymn ends, the pianist or the organist has to sit there and play like the tune until you're done, and then you sit down, and then you get down, you kneel so you can speak into the mic under the table, and then you say the prayer, the blessing on the bread or the water. I think it's the bread first because you break it. Maybe, I don't remember. But you have to recite the prayer word for word, otherwise the ritual, I don't know, it's a magic ritual that doesn't work. And then you have to say the prayer again. And then you stand up, and then you're saying the prayer. The deacon sitting on the first pew in the middle row, like right in front of the podium, stand up with their heads bowed and their like arms folded or hands clasped or whatever. And then after the prayer, the priests stand up with our hands, like holding our hands, look all official with our pimply faces, and then the deacons come up, they line up, and then you pick up a tray and you reach over the table and hand these short little 12-year-olds the tray, and then they back up, and then the line of deacons behind them take the tray. I mean, wards do this differently. There's no like set way to do it. Probably there is, but some wards have like a bunch, like 10 lots of deacons. And then you sit back down. And then you watch the deacons and probably some teachers pass around the trays. Maybe it takes like 5 minutes, depending on how many people are there. There was one foyer on the left side, sitting on the stage. The left foyer, there was also always lots of people in there. So everyone would be done. So we had like a set order of that you would sit on the pew if you're a deacon, and that you were a number, and that number was assigned a route through the chapel to organize things. Let's go on. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Okay. And there was like number 2, and number 2 would get their tray, and then they would go up to the stage, and this was important for some reason. I don't remember the reason why, but whoever was presiding over that meeting that Sunday had to receive the sacrament first before everybody else. Otherwise, it was like sacrilege. It was really bad. Like we'd get yelled at in a Sunday school or a priesthood meeting. So number 2 would get their tray, and then they would go stand, and then I think they got their tray last. And then everyone else would all go get in position, and then they stand there and watch whoever was in position number 2 go up there, and then give the sacrament to whoever's presiding, and then you would proceed. um, and yeah, so number 2 would give the sacrament to whoever's sitting up on the stage, and then they would go down the right side of the stage, and then pass it to the people. This is how it worked when I was younger. I'm sure the deacons do things differently now, because like my friend was like the one that came up with most of this, and he was usually number 2, because he's like, I'm gonna do it right. And he would give it to the people sitting in the shorter pews on the right side of the chapel. If you're sitting in a pew staring at the pew. Teeny, what are you doing here? Aren't you streaming? Hi, Teeny. Hi, dear. How are you, bestie? Z? You're sleeping to me rambles? Me rambles? Like I'm not a pirate. Oh, goodness. You're getting ready to eat now. I see. I am just rambling about growing up as a young boy in the church. Right now, I'm talking about sacrament meeting. Oh my goodness. Sorry. Go follow Teeny. Teeny is a goober rugby lover. Teeny does ASMR as well, and Teeny is very good at it. Teeny also has a lovely singing voice. Yeah, so number 2 then would give it to all those pews, and then they would go through the doors into the overflow on that side of the room. And then they would always be the last one done, because everybody went and sat in that side, in that foyer, for some reason. I don't know why it was always that side. Probably because to the chapel parking lot, the church parking lot, you had to pull in one end, and then you had to pull out to leave, go on the other side of the building. So everybody would park on that side to leave, because then they would... Excuse me. Oh my goodness, sorry. It's the taco soup. Of course, Teeny, of course. I hope you get some good sleeps. But anyway, whoever was in position 2, or whoever was number 2, was always the last one done, passing the sacrament. They always needed another tray. Always. They would run out, and then they had to go get another one from the priests. But after that, when the deacons and teachers were done passing, they would all line up 3 by 3, or 2 by 3, a row of 3 in front of a row of 3 of them, depending on how many there were. Growing up, it was just me and my friend that were the only boys in like my age group, and it sucked, because that meant for most of the time, and my friend was like a year, like technically older than me, and was technically an age group above me, so like I was just me in my Sunday school class with like 3 girls, and it was kinda lonely, I'll be honest. Like there were other boys in my Sunday school class, but they moved to other wards, like they'd move houses, and then they were in another ward's boundaries. So it was just me, which is fine. It wasn't that big of a deal, because later they merged those 2, my age group with my friend's age group, and then we were in class together, and everything was fine. So the deacons would line up, and then they would give each other the sacrament, and then they would turn around and face the priests, and then they would look at the priest, and then the priest would stand up, and then the deacons would run up, or not run, but they would like fast walk, but reverently walk up. They'd line up. Three would go hand the priests their trays. Then they would step back, and then the rest of them would go line up and then give the priest their trays, and then the priest would fold the cloth back over the bread trays, and then they would grab the corner, reach over, grab the corners of the cloth over and then unfold the cloth over the water trays, and then repeat till the water has been passed, and then after everything's done, that priests sit down, and then the deacons go and sit down next to their families, and then the priests get up and then they go sit down. I think in some wards they make the priests stay up there. But yeah, why was I talking about that? I think it was scout camp. I think it was scout camp. Yeah. So the scout leader, like the Boy Scout leader, was also like the leader in charge of the deacons. For some reason, I don't know if that was on purpose or just a coincidence. I don't think it was necessary. He just so happened to be the scout leader, and the guy that was in charge of the deacons. The deacon meeting after. So church used to be like 4 hours long, and sacrament meeting was like 2 hours long, or maybe not that long. I think it was an hour, and then everybody would go to Sunday school, and then they would go to their separate meetings. So like the boys would go to their quorum. So that's what the group of deacons, teachers, and priests are called. The priest quorum, the teachers quorum, and the deacons quorum. Then the deacons would go meet in a room, teachers would go meet in a room, and the priests would go meet in the bishop's office, because the bishop was also the priest's quorum leader, and he would call 3 priests to be his first counselor, second counselor, and the secretary of the priest quorum presidency. But yeah, so it was convenient. I don't know if that was like a thing that had to happen. Like if you were the Boy Scout leader, you're also in charge of the deacons. I don't know. But when you but I went to scout camp like 2 years and did Klondike, which I believe I've talked about, which is when you just go to when you're a Boy Scout and you go camp out in the snow and it's freezing, it's -degrees. And I did that like twice. The first time was alright. Or I think I did it 3 times. I can't remember much about the second time. Or I'm thinking of the first time. Anyway, the first time, so Klondike, you set up camp, and then that evening, you set up your camp or whatever. That usually takes most of the day because you have to shovel snow out of the way to stake your tent, because it's probably also very windy. And then you like eat dinner in like the mess hall of the meeting, the big building, because there are specific locations for Klondike, or if it's just a scout camp, all the troops go and eat in the the mess hall, and then you go to bed, and then in the morning you do like snow activities, like an obstacle course or something. I only remember doing that once because I think the second Klondike, it was so miserable. I was shared a tent with it was me, my friend that was like the only other priest with me, and two other people that were priests. One of them just mostly came to the campouts. I don't think he was really interested in church, but we were encouraged to invite him otherwise, and he was friends with one of us, the other guy. um, and I remember, I can't remember if my brother was, I think my brother was in that tent as well. And I think Klondike was the priests, deacons, and teachers all went to Klondike at the same time, I think. But I was really windy. Like we set up our tents in a place where this place. I can't remember of the geography of the place really, but we could hear the wind coming. Like it was really windy, and we could hear it, and it sounded like a freight train's whistle, like a train was coming. And then like clockwork, it would happen, and they'd be, oh boy, and then the tent would rattle for I don't know how long. It was really windy, and one of us, his dad was one of the leaders of the adults that presided over the deacons, and he went and slept in his dad's Jeep. I don't even think he slept well because he was still cold, I think. But he's like, I'm not dealing with this because our tent's zipper broke. So it broke. Well, okay. So we actually fall asleep. But we're all, I think I'm awakened by something. And I look up, and like the roof of the tent is like really close to my face, or maybe not. I like on my back. I open my eyes, and the roof of the tent is white or something, and I move my head over to look at the door of the tent because my head, my sleeping bag is in the again on the wall of the tent, and my head I'm facing the back of the tent. So I move my head over, like, hey, is anyone else awake? And I look over, and my friend, whose sleeping bag was like right, pretty close to the door. All I can see is his head, because the roof of the tent had bowed, that it had snowed so much, or snow had been swept on top of the tent, that it had bowed and had pinned my friend to the floor of the tent. And all I could see was his head. Like I could see the top of his head. And I was like, hey, are you okay? And we were laying there, and we had to yell for an adult, a leader, like, hey, so and so's pinned by the roof of the tent. Like I could not see the other wall of the tent, the opposite wall, because the ceiling of the tent had bowed. Like I didn't see anything like this before, or since. And my friend was pinned, and so they just were like, oh my goodness, and then they shook the tent to get the snow off, and eventually they freed my friend from being pinned by the roof of the tent. And then something happened to the zipper when one of us left to go sleep in the Jeep, and it broke. So our tent door was stuck open, and we're like, hey, we need more help. And the leaders were trying to fix the zipper, and it would not zip. And so they duct taped a tarp to the front of the tent, to not, because it's freezing outside. Needless to say, we got no sleep because the tarp stayed on, I think, but it would be whipped by the wind and make all this noise. And it was miserable. Eventually we all of our stuff converged on the center of the tent because we were trying to get away from the wind. It was a pain to clean all that up because we were like, this is my stuff, your stuff's over here, where's my canteen? But all of our stuff was shoved into the uh, middle of the tent because we were trying to get away from the cold. None of us got sleep because it was super windy. Like our door was flapping, and some younger boys, like a year, the I think they were teachers, or we were still teachers. I think we were teachers still, so they were deacons, I think. Um, there was three of them in the tent, and their tent was like a quarter of the size of ours because there was just them three. There were like 5 people in our tent, and we could see their tent out the door, and it was hilarious. It was so funny because we could see them, and they were like freaking out because they're younger. They got all this energy, and something happened with the way that they set up the fly to the tent, where it became unattached from the wind and had blown off. So we were watching them. One of them was standing in the middle of the tent holding the roof up and like, help, help. It was so funny. It was so funny. But no one got any sleep, and everyone left in the morning because that night sucked. I don't think we even ate breakfast. We just left. Everyone left. That was the last Klondike I went to. It was rough. But anyway, when I turned 14 and became a teacher, we stopped calling the campus we went to in the summer Scout Camp. It was like varsity camp for some reason, which is fine because I did not like Scout Camp. I found it stressful because it's basically just going to school, but you're out camping because they'd sign you up for a Scout Camp, and you had to pick the merit badges you wanted to take classes for. And I was like, I don't want to do any of this. I think my first Scout Camp, it was the last year that you could earn the horsemanship badge. They were retiring it later that year, or the next year. And I think this was Aspen Ridge, and it was like the only camp you could get it at because there was a ranch a little farther away from like the camp with like horses and stuff. And yeah, I never liked it. I mean, it was a good time, but like it was stressful because I did not like riding the horses. It was scary. I've talked about this before too, but with horsemanship, like there was orientation like the first day or whatever that you'd had horsemanship. Like you were there for like a week. Scout camp was like a week long, and you left on like Saturday because you had to be home by Sunday so you could go to church. So it was like Monday to Saturday, and it had to do like a quiz. They like talk to us about like horse body parts and parts of the saddle and stuff. We had to do like a quiz or something. And Barry, aren't you streaming? What are you doing? Hi, Barry. You want to go, girl? Okay. Sorry, I've just been rambling to myself. I don't even know if anyone's here. I think there's people here. You're on break? Okay. But I've just been talking to myself for like the last 20 minutes. You love it? Thank you. I appreciate it. It means a lot. Makes you feel better? Okay.
Barry, you're a very, very good girl. You're such a good girl. Yes, you are. You're a very, very good bear. Good bear. Barry, your streams are awesome. They're amazing and very entertaining. I'm very proud of you. You do such a good job.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Good girl. Good girl. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Such a good girl. Good girl. Okay, I hope you feel better. Don't want to miss this? Okay, well, I'm not ending anytime soon. But thank you for the redeem berry. Good luck with your cooking. I hope it's going well. Don't hurt yourself now. Um. But yeah, so horsemanship, like the first day, they made us sit in like bleachers, looking over like a pen, like a little pen, so you could like practice writing, I guess. Um. But like then they had you take notes, and like there was a diagram of a horse with things with arrows pointing at things, and you had to like identify or write down the name of the part of the horse or the saddle, and like the bit and stirrup and stuff like that. And then the next day or like a day after that, um, they're like, okay, we're gonna go trail riding. We're gonna ride a trail, everybody. And so they put you on a horse, and then you go in a line on a trail. It was terrifying because the horse did not. Yes, the horse. I can't remember what the horse's name was. I could remember it for a little while when I was younger, and then I was like, oh yeah, I did that, and then I couldn't remember the horse's name. It was something faint. It was like something flashy. It was a black horse. It was a black horse. I think it had white on its face, like a streak of white down like between its eyes to its nose. It was like one of those horses. I think. The horse did not trust me at all. It did not care what I thought because I was sitting there. My feet barely fit in the stirrups. I remember. I don't remember much of the trail. It was terrifying. All I remember was we were like face to butt on the horses. Like there was no like, and the trail was like there was like no trail that you could see from the top of the horse. It was just plants, and like I think there was a leader behind me, and my horse. I think my foot came out of the stirrup, and I was like, "Oh no!" I was terrified. And then the horse went off the trail, and it's like, "Oh, what's this plant?" And it like ate something, and the leader was like, "You gotta kick him, get him back." And I was like trying, but my legs were too short. Like my feet barely fit in the stirrups, barely reached the stirrups. I should have said something, but I didn't. Maybe I did. I don't know. And someone's like, "You'll be fine." Anyway, I think someone had to get off a horse, come guide mine back, and then we finished. And I was like, that was awful. That was awful. But the horses are huge when you're like 13, 12. They're huge. um, and like the last day of horsemanship at scout camp. Um, this was the year before they retired the badge. Like you can't get horsemanship anymore. Maybe you can. I don't know. I don't think so. They retired it because like not many people have access to a horse anymore to get it. But the last day was a test, and there was like a corral, like a little arena. It was just a really tall fence, a circular fence with a gate, and you go in one at a time. You get on the horse, and then there was someone in a worker in there with you, and he would like, okay, to do this, and then you would do the thing to make the horse do that, like gallop or turn around, do horse moves. um, and like I was one of the last people, I think, because I was like, no, you go, no, you go, or they just called everybody alphabetically, and my last name is in the lower half of the alphabet. I think if it was alphabetically, it might have been by troop. I don't know. I don't know. But basically, I think our whole troop did horsemanship because it was the last year you could do it, and it was like the only camp in the state that you could get it at. I think. Uh, but they swapped the horse out once, and it was after like not even half the people had gone, I think. So I go in, the guy helps me on the horse because I'm small and the horse is massive compared to me. He's like, okay, here we go. Get him to do this, and I like kick my feet into the horse or whatever, to make him go faster, or her. I can't remember. I don't know what the horse's sex was. um, but the horse had done this like probably over a dozen times. So the guy would say the command, and the horse would just do it, and I'm just sitting there. Uh, I'm like, okay, I kick the horse to make it go faster, or to start galloping around in the circle in this arena, and it's full of sand or loose dirt. But the guy's like, okay, nice, now do this, and then the horse would do it, and I was like, okay, but I think I didn't just sit there on the horse. I think I tried to do it, but the horse would just knew what to do when the guy said the words, because they only swapped the horse out once, and the horse had done this many times. So the horse just knew it. It just gallop, fine, turn around, do this, stop, and the horse just did it. He's like, great, you did great job. And then he helped me off the horse. I left, and I was like, oh, it's over. It's over. Yeah. Yeah. And that's how I got my horsemanship merit badge. I have it somewhere. I think it's in a plastic tub in my room. I don't remember how many merit badges I got. I didn't get many. I only got them when I went to scout camp. I didn't. I think I got like the cinematography one because of I make the little Lego videos with my cousin, right? That we reacted to when we hit 300. I have that VOD on YouTube. It's just privated. Maybe when we'll hit 500, I'll unprivate it for like a week. I don't know. But we did cinematography. Yeah, I wish I could remember that horse's name. I can't remember. The horse didn't trust me at all. It didn't care what I thought. It wanted to eat that leaf off the trail. Anyway, yeah. So scout camp. I think there was also the camp that had like a lake in the middle. No, that was Bartlett. Maybe I think they both had it was probably a man-made lake, but I think Bartlett, maybe both of them. There was a moose that was just lived on the property and just walked around. Like I think because we had to walk a good length of distance to get to the ranch with the horses, and we were all walking down there the first day or something. And then my dad's like, "Hey, look," or I don't think it was my dad. Well, maybe this was later then, because my dad was the Cub Scout leader, so he didn't have to come to Boy Scout camp, but he liked to because both me and my brother were there, and my grandma was a den mother for like the wolves. I think it was the wolves, or maybe the Weebelows. She probably did multiple of them. So like, Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts were like a big deal. Growing up. But my dad liked to come to Scout camp. He just liked it, and like there was no reason like he couldn't. But I think it was Aspen Ridge or Bartlett that he had to come to late because something was wrong with his car. He had a Malibu, white Malibu, and he had to take the muffler off or something for it to run. And so you could hear the Malibu from our camp spot. He was miles away, and you could hear him. It was so loud. But yeah, we're walking to the ranch or something with the horses, where the horses are. to do our merit badge class, and then someone's like, "Hey, look behind us!" And there's a big moose right behind us, just walking, just walking, just a big moose. It was really cool, but also kind of scary because the moose is huge. I think the moose was bigger than the horses, probably, or maybe the same size. It was just one moose, because you'd see it in the lake, just sitting there in the water, with just his head sticking out or whatever. It was cool. It was cool. That's the only time I've seen a moose. That was also the camp that we found a dead chipmunk in the garbage can in our camp. Like each camp plot had a big metal drum as our camp garbage can, and there was a chipmunk in it. And yeah, my dad was like, "Oh, we gotta get rid of it." I was like, "But it's a chipmunk." It's like, "No, nope." Okay, I'll do the RRs first, just real quick.
Sorry, but I know those are not very good RRs, but thank you for the routine plus. Thank you. Here's your smooches, Ninetale.
And water? Okay, thank you. I actually needed water. The Aspen Ridge. That was Bartlett. I don't remember, honestly. It was probably both. That one's Aspen Ridge. The other one was Bartlett. They both really dusty. And there was a boy in our troop. He was a pill. He was annoying. He was just, yeah, he had an attitude. Well, it was also not very bright because one of the leaders was like, "Hey, I'll give you $5 if you sweep the camp." He's like, "Really? Okay." And I mean, because I grew up with him across the street. Like he moved into a house across the street, and he was a pill. He was a bully. At least at the time. I don't know what he's like now because they moved away. But a leader told him like, "Hey," because he was like, he had too much energy, and he's like, "Okay, you need to like calm down. I'll give you $5 if you sweep up the camp." But the camp is just dirt, so we sit in there for I don't know how long with a broom, sweeping up the dirt, just moving it around. But yeah, he was just kind of annoying. But yeah. Yeah, that was my scout camps. Aspen Ridge, I remember more because of the horse stuff. Hi Ninetail. The emote is cute. Excuse me. But yeah, seeing a moose was like the coolest part. The moose was cool. The moose was pretty cool. I think Aspen Ridge was the one I did basket weaving as a merit badge, and I weaved baskets. They were not very good. I have one. I think I might have one of them somewhere. But you had to drown the straw in water for it to be flexible enough to like weave. Seeing a moose, yeah. Well, it never got really close. The closest it got was when we were walking to the ranch with the horses, and I think it was my dad, maybe. He was like, "Hey, look, the moose is behind us, and it was behind. Not, I don't think it was on the trail, but it was like just outside of the trees, and between the trail and the tree line, and it was like behind us going somewhere. It was pretty cool. But yeah, I don't think it was the biggest moose, but it's like a moose. That's pretty darn cool. A moose is cool, but also they're terrifying. But yeah, I just lived on the campgrounds. I just lived on the property. Um, but yeah, so then I turned 14, and then we stopped going to scout camp because we were older than the deacons, so we had our own camp. We camped with we did summer camps with the priests, I think. Um, I think the one I remember when I was a teacher, because I think one year was Trek. Maybe that was, or maybe Trek was when I was a priest. When I was 16, I think it was when I was 16. Um, yeah, so we'd go do something fun. Like there was one year, where like us and the deacons and the priests all went to Moab, and we went to Arches and Goblin Valley. That was really cool. I loved that place. Arches is kind of scary. Um, I think it's kind of dangerous to go to Arches now, because like stuff's unstable, like the rock. I don't know. This was like 2015, 2016. Um, so like it was pre-pandemic, so everybody was there. But it was cool. I'm glad I got to go. Goblin Valley was my favorite because we went there. We like spent like the whole day there at Goblin Valley, and we ate hot dogs, and people played. We did capture flag. I didn't do capture flag. I sat with my friend between some goblins and talked deep stuff. Where I was like, "Hey, what's all these? I have all these questions about the creation and all this stuff and the evolution, how these two fit." And my friend was like, and I was like, "What do you think?" He's like, "Well, I think we're just not supposed to know that yet." It's like, what? Maybe, I guess, but like you're not even okay. Because it was the big deal for me to reconcile the two. I talked about this Sunday, or was it last Wednesday? I don't remember. But that was part of my shelf breaking, I guess. It wasn't a big deal. Like, because like I loved the place, like, because like when you're Mormon, you feel the spirit burning in the bosom, right? And for me, feeling the spirit was just me being sleepy in church meetings, in like sacrament meeting. Because people, they didn't actually like say what feeling the spirit even was. Like a burning in the bosom. What does that mean? That's heartburn. You need to get that checked out. But yeah, I felt the spirit when I was just sleepy and like calm and like, yeah. But I loved Goblin Valley. It was so cool because like I'd call it a spiritual experience. I mean, I don't know, a spiritual experience at the time. It certainly felt similar to feeling the spirit in a church meeting or like doing stuff in the temple, doing baptisms for the dead. It's a very quiet place. It's very calm. There's not a whole lot of light pollution, as from what I remember. And we stayed there till after the sun set. And I loved the place because it's like you can feel the age of these rocks radiating off the rocks. That's what I felt like that you could. Like it was entranced by this place. It was so cool. I want to go back someday. This was like the year or the year after that that scout leader shoved the goblin over, like knocked the goblin over, and he was like, it was dangerous. I was like, no, it wasn't. And he supposedly had an injured ankle or something, but still shoved the rock over, like pushed it over. It was a big deal. It was a big deal for us. And they're like, no, don't knock the goblins over, because like they're heavy rocks, they'll hurt you. um, and then when I got a year older or something, we went up to Wyoming to go visit a quarry where you could get fish fossils. I have them right here on my shelf, on a shelf, one of my cubbies. I've got a couple, maybe 6. They wouldn't let you, and you pay like an entrance fee or whatever. They give you a hammer and a chisel and go over and look for fish fossils, because it's a big lake bed thing, right? So you find all these fish, and but if you find anything really big, you can't take it home. It probably goes to a museum's collection or something. Because I remember when we were leaving, or they had like a backhoe or something working. And when we were leaving, we were in the car, and like, oh look, they found it was this massive fish. Massive fish. I mean, it looked massive. I don't remember how big it was exactly, but it was big. And I've got some. Maybe I'll put pictures of them on Twitter. But yeah, it was so cool. I'm glad I got to go. I think we went on my suggestion. But yeah, it was so fun. I loved it. My dad went with us, and we ate burgers. And I ate a lot of burgers because they were good. And one of my friends was like, I don't understand how he does it. How does he still eat? I ate like 5. I ate a lot. And my dad's like, oh, he's so-and-so, related to my family name or whatever, right? And we eat a lot of food, which we do. we do. And then my friend didn't finish his burger, and I ate his. Yeah, that's all I remember from that. I think we rode on ATVs or something. And then when I became a priest, one of the leaders for the priest's quorum, he's very sweet, older man. Like, he's old now. I don't think he's doing camp out stuff anymore, but they have an RV or a mobile home, and 4-wheelers, a Jeep, and we went out to somewhere, maybe Moab again, and we rode around ATVs and slept in the RV. It was really fun. Mostly because I brought my DS, my 3DS. My brother brought his 3DS, and then someone else brought his 3DS XL, and we each had a copy of Smash Bros. For 3DS. So we played Smash Bros. Like the whole trip. Like whenever we had free time, we just played Smash Bros. On our 3DSs. It was so fun. It was awesome. And I think I was the only one that had Mewtwo, because they added Mewtwo as DLC later. So, and we'd pass them around, take turns, do a few rounds or whatever. It was fun. And then, because I remember I slept in a chair, like the chair in front of the door, and it was kind of uncomfortable. But yeah, it was fun. And then everybody fell asleep on the trip home because the thing went rock and shake on every bump. And it was like my first experience being on the freeway without a seatbelt on. You know, it was surreal. Well, it wasn't surreal. It was just kind of cool because I'm sitting in a sofa and we're going 80 miles an hour on the freeway. Or maybe 70. I don't know if we went 80. But it was like, wow, this is cool. But you had to be careful if you went to the bathroom because the whole thing is shaking. Yeah, I think that was the last camp. And then I went to Trek, Mormon Truck, which I have talked about before on trucking sim streams. I don't know if I want to get into it now. Because I have many things to say about it. And we've been going for 2 hours. I don't know if I'm going to stream for 4 hours again. Yeah, oh, let me do this. Oh, freaking spill. There we go. Go follow Plush. Plush is sweet, cute streamer. Plush does lots of art streams. Plush's art streams are chill enough that they could probably be just ASMR streams. And Plush also has a very, very nice singing voice like Teeny. So, they're a good time. They're a good time. Hi, 90. Pops? Oh, shoot. Teto, you should have done this earlier. Now we can't end until after I eat the sucker. Teto. Alright, well, I guess I can get into Trek then. Or what Trek is. I've talked about it before. I don't know who was there for that. I guess I don't know. I'm gonna do it. Plus, you'd be very good at it, I think. You've got similar ASMR sauce to sucrose. I think you'd be good at it. Okay. Open sesame. Okay. These things are a pain. I need a knife. I don't have one nearby. Okay. Is that good enough to get open? Please? Okay. I don't know who was there for that truck sim game when I didn't get into a whole lot of detail about it. Maybe I did. I don't know. I think Elle was there. I haven't seen Elle in a while. Hope Elle's doing alright. Alright, let's try not to get this one loose on the stick like the last one. Okay. Alright. This one has lots of red and yellow. Oh no, I can see the stick. Okay, well, I gotta be careful because otherwise this thing's gonna come loose like the other one did. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, I think these are all the same flavor. It's just generic fruity. Like it's just sugar. But also fruity, so I don't know. These taste pretty good, actually. They taste good. You did a good job, Teto. I guess I'll talk about it. Okay. So every few years, I don't know if they still do it. My sisters haven't gone on Trek. Maybe they didn't want to. I don't know. Maybe they stopped doing it. I'll have to ask my mom if they still do it. I did it once. Yeah, because I do it like every 4 years. because you have to be at least 16 to go, I think. So they do it like every 2 or every 4 years. So by the time it rolls around again, you're probably too old or old enough to do it twice. Depends, I think. But Trek is like a week-long camp, or it's a couple days, maybe. Like Wednesday to Saturday, maybe, or Monday to Saturday. Um, but it's basically a Mormon pioneer LARP camp. um, you can only wear like button-up shirts, no jeans, but you have to wear pants. And so the way my trek worked, there's like horror stories of people's trek experiences. They're awful. It was not. You'll see later, 90. But like you had to sign a waiver. Like I remember they gave us like a pamphlet, and I think it was when I was a teacher, so I think I was like 14 or 15. I might have been 15. Hi, Sucrose. Hi, Sucrose. Hi, Sucrose. Oh, not read. Not read. But yeah, they'd get a permission slip signed, and then they gave you this big list of stuff you had to get. Had to bring with you. Like a certain number of pairs of clothes, a hat. Of course, Sucrose, of course. Go follow Sucrose. Sucrose is doing ASMR, or does ASMR. I don't know if Sucrose is streaming tonight, but go do it. Follow Sucrose if you're not already. Sucrose does ASMR and is very good at it. They also have the cutest giggles. Oh my goodness. Stream on Sunday again. Nice. Sucrose has the cutest giggles. Oh my goodness. They lift the soul. Oh no, ad break. It's on the hour. Yeah. Oh shoot. How did I not see that? Anyway. So. I guess I'll just focus on using the sucker. Did you eat today, Nighty? What did you eat today, Nighty? Gummy bears? You only ate gummy bears? It counts? Listen, Nighty. I spent a Sunday, when I was younger, only eating like gummy worms and like candy, and like my stomach hurt by dinner time because it was the only thing I ate that day, and I do not want to feel like that again. So I hope you eat. Did you at least drink water? Did you at least drink water, Nighty? always good. Good nighty. Good nighty. So they give you a really long list of all the stuff you had to bring. And so my mom and my grandpa took me and my brother to the thrift store. And in Utah, the church has its own thrift chain of thrift stores it owns, called Desert Industries, or the DI. So like growing up, I had never seen a Goodwill. I didn't even know what it was. It's just the DI, the Desert Industries. And I think there's Goodwills in the state now, but not very many. I probably don't get as many donations as the DI. Anyway, so my grandpa and my mom took me to this place. Me and my brother to the thrift store. We're trying on all these pants, and I wanted to go home after a certain amount of time. I got just tired of it, and so I tried on these pants. And like, yeah, they fit. These are fine. This would come to bite me in the butt, or waist. So basically, Trek is Mormon Pioneer LARP camp. The way it worked, for when I did it, they sort you into families, and you get a ma and a pa, which are older youths, probably like 18, 19. And then you get two adult leaders to watch the family, a guy and a girl leader. So you have your mom and pa, which are like in charge of the family. Then you have the leaders that just kind of make sure nobody gets hurt, that kind of thing. And then the siblings. It's me, the guy, I can't remember his name. I can't remember anyone's names. And I think one of my friends, I think it was my friend, I'm pretty sure my friend that got back from his mission last month, or the month before that, was in my family, which was nice, because I knew someone. And then I think there were 2 girls, counting the ma, I think. And you would pull hand carts on a trail, so you just walk like all day. Well, not all day. You take breaks. That's the gist of it. It is miserable. It is awful. Hi, Jorts. Hi, Jorts. How are you, Jorts? Good to see you. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Happy birthday. I've been here the whole time. You're amazing. Glad to hear. Glad to hear. Oh yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Halloween. Has it been that long? Let's see. I can look. It has been... Oh yeah. No. Maybe? Huh. Okay. I don't know. Here we are. Well, welcome, Jorts. Welcome, Jorts. Welcome. I'm just rambling. Some tingles. Glad to hear. Glad to hear. I'm eating a Twisty Pop per request, and just rambling about my Mormon upbringing. So get cozy, I guess. Good boy. Nice. You should be there probably 10 minutes then, I think. You have to watch for 10 minutes to get the bonus dust bunnies or points. Anyway, so yeah, that's how Trek bait works. Basically, it used to be like years ago, before I was even born. Older people had been on Trek, and they made you like slaughter a chicken for dinner, all this stuff. Okay. All right. Thank you, Toto. You want a good boy, George? You want a good boy? You want a good boy, George? Huh? Yeah? Okay. Okay.
Jorts. 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 You're such a good boy. Yes, you are. You're such a good boy, Jorts. You're a very, very good boy. You're such a good boy. Good boy. Jorts, I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of you, dear. Good boy. Oh, that's so great, George. That's okay. Thank you for being here. Yes, you're a very good boy. You're a very, very good boy. Good boy, George. Good boy. I'm very proud of you, George. Thank you for being here. It's always good to see you.
Good boy. Good boy, George. Good boy. 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 You're such a good boy. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Good boy. Good boy. You're such a good boy. Very, very good boy. Good boy. There you go, George. Thank you for sponsoring George with a good boy. Tato, thank you. Hope that was okay for you, George. Of course, dear, of course. Thank you for the redeem. Alright. So, also, on this list of stuff we had to bring to Trek with us, let's do another, okay, was a cup. Because a cup designated for the flower. Because famously, there's all these church films about the pioneers, and they just eat flour mixed with water, because it was cheap. And I can get into like stuff with the pioneers and the them actually moving west. I can get into that later because it's gonna get me heated. But so I am in a certain area, so we went to somewhere location where actually the pioneers actually went through. In other places that aren't anywhere near places like that, they just do trek, like in the neighborhood or something. I don't know, because trek is not like a church mandated thing. It's just a thing that somebody started in his ward, and then people were like, "Hey, that's pretty cool," and then they did it, and yeah. um, yeah. So you pull a hand cart. So, what me and my brother did was our grandma helped us make because you put all your stuff in a bucket, like a Home Depot bucket with a lid to keep your stuff safe. And it contained in a small form to put in the hand cart with like a jug of water. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Oh my goodness. It's the taco soup. But yeah, so anyway, we sign up for Trek, but it's like summer, and we get like the pamphlet and permission slip and stuff like the beginning of the year. And they're like, it's gonna be great. We're gonna get air-conditioned buses because it's like a 4-hour drive to the place. It's a pretty long drive to sit in a bus. Well, okay, it's not gonna be that bad. The bus is gonna have a toilet and air conditioning. And we go to the stake center, which is the chapel where that's like the center of the ward, or what the stake, which is a group of wards in a certain area, in an area, and there's a chapel or a church building designated as the stake center, and the stake center has a baptismal font. It's generally bigger, has more rooms for meetings and all that kind of thing. The chapel's bigger. And you could redeem smooches, George. You could redeem your daily smooches. Anyway, so we go shopping for all this stuff, and like I said, I got those pants, but it's $50. It's $50, yeah. Just saying. Yeah. You're 60 away from a good boy. Good girl, please. Okay, plus. Okay, let me drink some water real quick. The Toasty Pops kind of dry out the mouth. Make the palate sticky. Because it's candy. Yeah.
Plus. You're a very, very good girl. You're a good girl, Plus. Very good girl. Plus, I'm very proud of you, dear. Your streams are amazing. You're a good streamer. And a good girl, Plus. Your streams are very entertaining. They're a good time. And it shows that you care about your streams. You can tell. You're a very good girl, and I'm very proud of you. Plus, you work very hard. Your art is amazing. It's so good. And very cute. Very cute. Good girl, Best. Good girl.
Good girl, good girl. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Good girl. Good girl, good girl. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Sorry. Got hair in my face. Good girl, plastic. Good girl. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl. Scritchies too. I can give you scritchies, George. Scritchies like these. Or I can put on the foam mic cover if you prefer those sounds. Like this, the foam. Or would you prefer the fuzzy one? The fuzzy. Would you prefer the fuzzy foam? Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Like this. These scratches. That's good. I like the fuzzy sound. I like the sounds of the fuzzy because it sounds like, to me anyway, just more calm, I suppose. Squats? Alright. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. Make sure you use shampoo and conditioner then, Jorts. It's important. Oh. Alright, well, I know Sucrose likes this. Alright, let's see how this goes.
Jorts. 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 You're a very, very good boy. Very good boy. Very, very good boy. Good boy. You're such a good boy. Very good boy, Jorts. Thank you for being here. It's good to see you. Good boy. Good boy, Jorts. You're a very, very good boy.
Good boy. Good boy. A very good boy, Jorts. Good boy. Good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy. Good boy. Good boy. There you go, George. Hope that was okay for you. Thank you for the rating. Okay. So, yeah, a lot of the pioneers had to live off of like a cup of flour and mixed with water. And they did not have to. I'm not going to get into it right now because it's going to get me heated and I won't need to go to bed tonight. I may have to eat anyway to explain why Trek is awful. um, yeah, so we got a cup that I was like, I'm gonna use this for the flour, and you got there. Okay, so anyway, we get to the steak center, and the buses are late by like 30 minutes. I'm on like my family's like on the last bus to leave, and we're like, okay, it's gonna be air-conditioned buses with toilets, and we're sitting there, and then a school bus, a banana bus, pulls into the parking lot, and we're like, what? And then the leaders are like, sorry, they canceled, those buses canceled, or something. They made some excuse. I don't know. Maybe they told us that so we'd actually go. I don't know. So sat on a school bus. Those school bus seats for like 4 hours. And those pants that I got because they fit at the time, I was like, yeah, Mom, these fit. Let's go home. I'm done. Because we went to the thrift store for pants and clothes for Trek. I was like, okay, I'm done. I just want to go home. So I told my mom, yeah, these fit. They were way too tight, and I was in pain, like the whole trip down there. It's like, why does my stomach hurt so bad? I was like, oh yeah, these pants are too tight. I don't have access to my stuff because it's in a trailer or something, right? So, yeah, that was awful. I don't know what happened to those pants. I don't have them anymore. But I wore the same pants the rest of the week because they fit. It didn't hurt me. But yeah. So. So you get there. And you find your family or whatever. The people you're assigned with to be in a quote-unquote family for the week. Then they do like a presentation or something about why this is important or something. And then, alright, here's your hand cart. And then you take your hand cart with your stuff. And you pull it to camp. And then you set up your tents and stuff. And yeah, and they fed us pretty good. They did. There was one lady, a poor lady, like the last day of Trek. I'm skipping ahead, but there was testimony meeting. I'll get into that later. But she was like, "Yeah, this Trek was really great. When I first went to Trek, they gave us a chicken, and we had to butcher it, or we starved that day." It's like, whoa, okay. Glad I didn't have to butcher a chicken, like a live chicken, in a crate or in a cage. Like that's a little extreme. But okay. Like the point of Trek, I don't think the point of Trek is to have fun. It's to be like, hey, you teenage boys and girls, your pioneer ancestors suffered, so you have to be faithful, otherwise they suffered for nothing. And your trivial problems don't matter, are nothing compared to people's start. Like they had to bury people, and people died in the snow in the winter because they left too early. But yeah, people suffered. The pioneers suffered like real bad, and they did not have to at all. The church was just cheap. But yeah, it's basically be like, hey, your problems don't matter because your pioneer ancestors suffered, so quit complaining, or something. Maybe that's not the point, but it certainly made people feel that way. And comparing one suffering to another, it's just not a very good thing to do. It doesn't, yeah. Anyway, they fed us pretty good, at least dinner. Because they had like leaders that went just to make meals for everybody. Like we had pancakes with bacon and like sausage and eggs. It was really good. It was really good food. It was pretty good. And before I left, my grandpa gave me a camera. I probably got it at the thrift store or something. I have it. and I took like 2 pictures. I took like 2 pictures, one or maybe one picture, and it's just of a deer that I saw. I don't even know if the camera works, but yeah. So we get there, we set up. Mosquito bites out, yeah. You're up again. Welcome back, Ninetail. Yeah. So that we got there, we set up our tents or whatever, and we get up the next day or whatever, because we got there like midday, I think, because the buses were late by like an hour. But we get up at the crack of dawn, and they hand everybody this little pouch of flour. I'm like, all right, hold on to this. You're gonna eat it for lunch. That's what you brought, a cup, right? Like, yeah, I did. And uncomfortable. Oh, sorry, Ninetail. And uncapable. You mean unacceptable? What? No, I'm just. No, I'm just so confused. It's okay. Autocorrect hates me. Uncapable. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I just misread it. Or I guess that could be read as uncapable. Maybe? I don't know. I'm tired. Tried to redeem this late now. I'm stuck. Don't hee me. Don't me to know. You know what you did. You rascal. But yeah, so they handed us this flour, and we're like, all right, let's go. So we walk, get our handcart together with our family group thing they assigned us, and we start walking, calling you that. Yep, rascal, little rascal. And so we hike, pretty much pull the handcart till like around, I guess, lunchtime, till we get to a pavilion somewhere with like picnic tables, and then there's the roof thing, right, that you see at a park. And we sit down. All right, get your cup out and your flour. And I'm like, I'm pissed. I'm upset. I am tired, and now I have to eat flour, raw flour and water, and the flour smells gross. It's my butt. Anyway, so I'm sitting there. I dump it out into my cup and put some water, and I'm like mixing it with like a spoon or something. And I'm like, I am upset. I am not in a good mood. And then, like, I think I tasted it, and it was disgusting. It was so gross. And then they're like, oh, psych. And then leaders come down the hill with a hand cart full of like small bags of Doritos and like prepackaged sandwiches. And I'm like, really? I ruined my cup. This cup is unusable now. And the cup smelled so bad the rest of the week. It was so stinky. Um, uh, yeah, and then like the last hike we did, like, yeah, it's gonna be breeze. It's like 3 miles. It was like 20. It was like, or maybe 15 miles. It was a long hike. And we were like, hey, has it been 3 miles yet? You guys said this is gonna be fast. They're like, no, it's just a little more. And like, no, okay, we lied to you, so you wouldn't be like, you wouldn't complain. It's like 15 miles. Like, wow, you should have just told me. Now I'm more upset. You lied to me, right? Yeah, it was exhausting. But there's this part of Trek that like everybody does, where, because there's like this story of like pioneers going west, and then they get like drafted or called for the Civil War or something, or they form like the Mormon battalion. So like the men have to leave, and then it's just the ladies pulling the handcart. So there's this part in Trek where all the young men have to stand on this ridge, on this hill, and they have to stand there and watch the young women pull the handcarts up a hill, and they're not allowed to help, and it's really stupid. It's really stupid and awful. It's so dumb. And what is it supposed to teach? Stupid lessons. Yeah. Like, is it meant to make the young woman feel helpless or something? I don't know. It was really dumb. I didn't like it. I found it weird. It was weird. But, yeah, it's all culty stuff. I hated it. Well, I don't want to say I hated it at the time. Looking back, it's like the most culty of any of my Mormon experience, besides Zion's camp, which I believe I've talked about. But so Trek. After that, we packed up. Oh yeah, I remember. It was like the first night. We weren't allowed to bring our phone. We couldn't have our phone with us. And there was a young woman that dropped her phone in the kaibo, and they had to fish it out. It was hilarious. Because she wasn't supposed to have it, but she could only use it where no one could see her, which is in the kaibo. And it fell down in the pit. Real gross. Yeah. And then we got to go home. And my bus was again like the last one to get back to the steak center, because our bus ran out of coolant. So the bus driver was like, well, I'm gonna have to run the heater to pull heat from the engine. So pull down your windows. And it's summer. So we're sitting in the bus on these uncomfortable bus seats for like 3-4 hours. Well, the hot air is blowing because the engines are the coolant or something. Something happened. Excuse me. I could not get my window down for the life of me. and I think I just give up. Or the person sitting in front of me gets their window open, and it's like, okay, fine. And I tried to sleep. I think I did. But it was real bumpy. And I think at one point the bus driver was like, do we want to stop to go to the bathroom? And we were all like, no, just keep going. Don't stop. It's like, okay. Like, I think we might have voted. I don't remember. So by the time we got back to the steak center, I had to pee so bad. And I was grumpy. I was bleh, lightheaded because I didn't have water. We just kept driving. So like my mom had a camera or her phone to take pictures or record of me getting off the bus, because our bus was like the last bus there. Like everybody was there like an hour before us or something. So my first words up the bus were, I have to pee. And like I just went to the bathroom. I was done. I was upset. Yeah. Yeah. It's really stupid, and people can get hurt, get sick. And yeah, I don't want to relive what the pioneers went through. No one should have to relive what they went through. It was awful. We don't need to glorify it. Anyway, because they did not have to suffer like that. They did not have to. The church is just cheap. They're still pretty cheap. They didn't. There was a story came out that happened a couple, like last week or the week before that, of like 60 people getting carbon monoxide poisoning, because on Sunday, because the church did not put a carbon monoxide detector in the building. And like a lot of people got sick. I don't think anyone died. But the there was a lady that was like, yeah, it's a really great spiritual experience. The Holy Ghost protected us or something. And it was like, ma'am, your child literally could have died. And you're like, this is a great learning experience. This is a great spiritual experience. I'm happy with this. Like, ma'am, your child could have died. And the church was like, oh, that they like responded or something. And they're like, yeah, we didn't put one in there because we're not legally required to. It's like, wow. Okay. Wow. All right. Sure thing. Sure thing, dude. And like, are carbon monoxide detectors expensive? Oh my goodness, that's no good. This is awful. Okay, that happened like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Living experience, yeah. 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 I can get into all that stuff another time, because I need to go to bed soon. And then that's gonna get me too heated. I guess while I'm at it, I can talk about Zion's camp. Now, I did not serve a Mormon mission. I didn't want to. And you have to be like the church says, any able-bodied where the young man must serve a mission, or is called to serve a mission. And I didn't go because I didn't want to, and I didn't feel worthy enough. Oh my goodness, because I touched my wee wee. um, but anyway, don't pog champ that. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Okay. But science camp is like it's church camp to like get you to go on a mission, because you go when you're like 16, 17, 18. And then like 2015, 2014, they lowered the required age to go on a mission to like 18 from like 19. So you can go straight out of high school, which lots of people do, which is just wow. But the science camp is like designed to get you to go on a mission. It is like the cultiest thing that I have experienced. Like it is like the stuff that happened. Specifically, one thing was like pretty like wow, looking back. So, it happens. I went to Camp Woodland. So forward. Thank you for that clip, Tezo. Thank you. Oh my goodness, that's gonna show when people do shout outs and stuff. I don't want people to hear that. Oh well. And it's jaguar planking. Oh my god. Okay, anyway. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So, science camp. Like lots of church camps happen at this camp, like fathers and sons. It always rained whenever I went to this camp on a camp out trip. For some reason, it would always rain there without fail, and it was awful. But anyway, it did not rain at science camp, I don't think. Maybe it did. No, that was state camp. No, right. So the whole point of science camp, like I still have the shirt, I think. There were shirts with scriptures on them. It was like, serve in the army of the Lord or something. I can't remember. Anyway. It's all about getting you to go on a mission. That's like its whole point. Like if you're undecided, it will make you want to go. So you're divided up into like groups of 5 or whatever. Excuse me. Oh my goodness, that one was loud. Sorry about that. Excuse me. Super Mafu. Anyway. Yeah, because it's like you do like team activities. Like I think there was one where you had to rip ribbons off people's belts or something. It was like one of those games. I think. But like the last day, and like your bishop went. Like it was like a stake thing. So like your bishop went because he was, he's in charge of your ward or whatever. At least my bishop was there. And the main event, I don't remember what it's called, but so here's what happens. Oh yeah, I have my hat that I took to trek Moab and Zion's camp with the bandana. I was on green team because my bandana is green. And sorry if this is triggering for anybody. I'm sorry. Anybody listening to this. But so they blindfolded you. I think they used your bandana to blindfold you. So like in the beginning of the Book of Mormon, the main characters, at least the Nephi's dad, Lehi, has a vision or has a dream of people holding onto this iron rod in this misty valley that you can't really see in front of you. And the rod goes to the tree of life. This is all a metaphor because it's a dream. Right? And on one side of the iron rod is this big chasm. And on the other side of this chasm is this great and spacious building with all these taunting people. Like, hey, come to the great spacious building and party or something. And you have to hold strong to the iron rod. Totally not a euphemism for anything. But you hold tight to the iron rod and trust it because you can't see because it's too foggy. And the rod takes you to the tree of life, and you can eat the tree of life and obtain eternal life. It's a metaphor for staying on the covenant path to get to the best heaven. So anyway, this activity, if you want to call it that, at Zion's camp was to emulate that. But similar. They blindfold you. They give you a sack, like a burlap sack, and you have to hold it. You can't drop the sack, and you also have to hold onto a rope. And if you let go of the rope, you're taken or something. I don't remember. I didn't let go of the rope. And as you're going, following this rope, and also at Camp Woodland, there's lots of trees, so it's pretty good for this because they tie the rope between trees to keep it taut. And so you hold onto the rope with one hand, and then you have to hold onto the sack, and you'll go for a certain amount of distance, and then there will be like a leader that explains something that you did bad in this game. Like you committed a sin. It doesn't matter what sin. And then they put a rock in your sack. And you can't drop the sack, but you have to hold on to the rope. So some people, I think I slung over my shoulder a few times. It got really heavy. These are not small rocks. They're like fist-sized rocks to maybe a bit bigger, like a 15-year-old's fist. They were big rocks, and the people would be like off to the side of the rope, like, come over here. Oh, it's over here. You come over here, to like tempt you. It was really dumb. But there were people that like help you, because I remember I got to a tree following the rope, and I was like trying to find the other end of the rope. Like, and I could not find it, but it was just to my right. But I went around the long way around the tree, and somebody's like, "Oh, it's over here, brother." And then I grabbed the rope. I was like, "Oh, okay," because I was like struggling for probably like 30, like a good amount of time, not too long. But I was like, I cannot find this rope. Where is it? Is this a trick too? But yeah, at the end, your bishop, your leader or whatever, is waiting for you. Like and they're playing like church hymns or something, and the rope leads to these concrete seats over this fire pit looking over this fire pit where they, you sit down and have meetings or whatever outside, because there's a meeting house, like a mess hall thing in the kitchen and stuff, like an actual building. But anyway, then you finish that, and then they're like, okay, who's your bishop, or something. Like, okay, it's over here. Then they take you to him. You're still blindfolded, and then your bishop whispers to you like, hey, I love you, buddy, and all this stuff. Like they love bomb you basically. I don't think the bishop did that on purpose, but basically they love bomb you. They make you cry, and then like, okay, go over here. They guide you to this area, and then they take your blindfold off because Jesus has forgiven you or whatever, and so you take off your blindfold, and the first thing you see is this big portrait of Jesus that hangs in the mess hall above a fake fireplace. It might be a real fireplace, actually. But you're like bawling, and then you take your rocks out of your sack and you put them in a pile of rocks in front of Jesus, and you go sit down. I was destroyed. I was wrecked. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go on a mission. Like I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. And we had to bring a journal, and one of the leaders was like, hey, and like obviously we're all feeling the spirit because we're all crying. Like I sat down next to my friend. He's like rubbing my back because I'm like bawling. And he's like, and the leader's like, hey, write this down so you guys remember this. Okay, that's a good idea. And I wrote down, and I wrote down, I'm gonna go on a mission. And then, like, I didn't. I got over it. But yeah, it was really effective. And I remember, the rocks were really dirty too. Like they were covered in like some black soot, dirt stuff. And I remember I wiped my hands on my bandana. I was like, now I'll always remember because my bandana's dirty now. Or something. Yeah, it was pretty, like, after I found out it's all bullcrap, right? Looking back, I was like, wow, that was kind of weird. And yeah, the whole point of that camp is to get you to go on a mission. Because really, a mission, I mean, it helps convert people, right? But it's mostly to get you committed, to get you to stay. Because the church, something like 80% of youth leave or something. So a mission is really meant to keep you in the church, keep you committed. Because like you leave like right after high school, and you face all this rejection from people because you're a missionary and you're bothering them, right? Even though you're still a kid. Like I do not hate the missionary start. They're just kids. So if you see a missionary, please be kind. They're just doing what they've been taught is best. I mean, yeah, just give them some water, because it's rough out there. But yeah, science camp was pretty culty. It was weird. Alright. Sammy is live. She's doing ASMR. So, I want to raid Zammy. But I'm gonna go finish this sucker. I'm just gonna try and crunch it. Well, yeah, I guess. Anybody got some questions? I don't know. I think I got everything. And then, so I did science camp. I don't know if I don't know if I did science camp when my dad was my age at the time. I think my dad wasn't a fan of church when he was young. He only went because his mom was like, my grandma was like, as long as you live under my roof, you're gonna go to church. I was like, okay, fine. And then, so yeah, he didn't serve a mission either. Neither did my mom. The only person in my extended family to do it, besides cousins, was my uncle. And he went when I still lived with my grandparents. So it was a long time ago. And my cousin went in 2020, or like the tail end of 2019, but had to come home because he has diabetes, so he couldn't stay out on the mission because it was COVID times and he was at risk, or classified as qualified as at risk. So he was sent home, discharged honorably. His younger brother just got home, like the week before Christmas. I don't know if they went to science camp, but my friend that also happened to be in my Trek family is like in it, dude. He's in it. Like we were playing. I used to run a D&D campaign for my friends, the ones I played GTFO with and stuff, the boys. And after one session, not the first session, but after a session, he was like, I'm not going to do this anymore, it's too violent. And he swore off Star Wars too. Like, he swore off of anything violent or gory. Because what happened that session was they investigated some werewolves, like disappearances that were the cause of werewolves. And we tried to save like everybody in the town by gathering them at the butcher's shop or something, or the inn. And I was like, no, you're running out of time. And my friend was like getting frustrated. He had to save everybody. And his character he had to make a save check against contracting like lycanthropy, and he fell unconscious and stuff. So it was a rough session. But after that, he texted me. He's like, hey, I'm not doing this anymore. So for like a month or two, it was probably also because he was dating someone who was very very Mormon. And he's like, no, I'm swearing it off, no more. And he's like, okay, sure, it's your decision. And then his brother, who served a mission, loves Star Wars, so his brother talked some sense into him, and he got into a fight with my cousin because my cousin liked Star Wars, like really likes Star Wars. He's like, no, you're crazy because you like violence and Star Wars. And he's like, alright, whatever. And then my friend got home from his mission, and we went out to eat at his burger place. You love Star Wars? Yeah, it's great. But there's violence. I think they were still in high school. I had graduated, I think. But I graduated. They might have still been in high school. But he went on a mission, came back, And while he was gone, is when I um, deconstructed, or I don't know, deconstruction is a process. When I lost my faith, and I haven't told him. Yeah, he was. It was mostly because he was courting a young lady whose parents were very strict. So if he wanted to court this lady, he probably had to swear it off. But his brother talks some sense into him because he's a returned missionary and stuff, right? And uh, uh, sorry, my infinity cube distracted me. Okay. Man, quite. He's getting married in March. But it's a different girl. It's a different girl. But he got back, and my friends, we had planned. My friends, and yeah, he's younger than me. You get, if you're not married by like 22, 23, you're doing something wrong if you're Mormon. um, yeah, my friends were like, "Hey, can we kidnap you on the 2nd of December, or whatever it was?" Uh, and he's like, "Yeah, as long as you're not doing apostate activities." And I didn't say anything, but I was like, "Whoa, what is an apostate activity? What is an apostate activity?" It's that drinking coffee, going to Starbucks. 14 and 15 in the village. Ah, I see. That's pretty early for Mormon standards. It's pretty early, yeah. Um, no, my grandparents didn't get married that quick or that early. Um, but all that left me with was, all I could think was like, what is an apostate activity? Is it going to Starbucks, getting a mocha cappuccino? I don't know. What does that mean? Swearing at the wall? I don't know. So we had a Halo LAN party at my friend's house. It was really fun, but he left my friend, who got back from his mission, left at like 9 because that's his bedtime. Play do anything, yeah. But before that, we had to go to a game store because my friend bought a copy of Combat Evolved for the LAN party. He bought two, but one was the PAL version, so it wouldn't play on his Xbox. So we had to go to a game store, and we went to a board game store first, or after that. And one of my friends, who is, I don't think was ever Mormon, bought a game. It's like apples to apples, but it is very irreverent. We'll say. It had stuff on it that we had to look up on Urban Dictionary on the cards, and like, we're all adults here, right? I think one was getting strawberry shortcake or something. It was really gross. And we were playing it, and I was like, "This is apostate activity." This is apostate activity. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was fun though. It was fun though. Okay, we're gonna go raid Zammy. Zammy is playing ASMR, but she's also playing Dead by Daylight, so we'll see how that goes. Give me a second to swap my headphones and we'll get the raid started. And then I'm gonna swap the mic covers back. Oh, whoops. Give me a second. Alright. Alright, you little rascal. Thank you for the twisty popper name. Thank you. Alrighty. We're gonna return the raid to Zammy because she's actually streaming this late. Thank you for coming. Thank you. I appreciate it. I love you guys. Sorry for the rambling. It all started because Honey asked me what taco soup was. It happens. It's just territory, I guess. I don't know. Well, I will see you guys tomorrow night for some Baldur's Gate. Friday we're playing Deep Rock Galactic with some bear friends. Playing with Berry, Terberry, excuse me, Icy Bone Shredder, and Teddy Mara, the king of soft boys. So I will see you guys tomorrow for some Baldur's Gate 3 specifically. But I love you guys. Good night, Teto. Good night, Ninetale. Good night, Naidi. Good night, Jorts. Good night, Sucrose. Good night, Honey. Good night, Plush. Good night, Stargirl. Good night, Grape. Good night, Honey. Love you guys. Be safe. Good night, Sucrose. Sorry you had to listen to me ramble. I didn't do many triggers, so I apologize. I feel bad when I do that. But, yeah. Good night, Stargirl. Sweet dreams. I hope you're recovering nicely from your wisdom teeth removal. It's rough. My brother had... Oh. Good night.